So, how do you use an abundance mindset to attract richer relationships in 2023? First of all, examine your limiting beliefs. Check for unconfirmed biases that you have absorbed or that you have accepted without questioning. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, have you told yourself that you can only date people who are of a certain height, or who look a certain way, or who, have a certain belief, And I'm going to use an example, right? I follow this travel blogger on Instagram. Her name is Glow, and she's recently been sharing about her, journey to love. And one thing that really struck me is, at first, she just really wanted to date people within her comfort zone, maybe people from her own race, people who live in her own country. And she realized that, she wasn't attracting the love that she wanted. So she opened up her world and decided, you know what? I'm willing to date outside my race. I'm willing to date, outside my country. And the minute she opened up, the minute she dropped all those biases, the minute she expanded her world, she met her partner, or she found her partner, or she was found by her partner, whichever way. Now, the point is, you first of all have to remove the limits that you've put on the kind of relationship that you can have. And I'm not saying allow, every Tom, Dick, and Harry into your life. And I'm not saying lose all your boundaries, but you need to examine your boundaries. Which one of your boundaries is really necessary and which one isn't? Which boundaries have you tested yourself and realized, yeah, I can't take this? And which boundaries have you just put in place because somebody else told you that's what you're supposed to do? Like, if you're saying, oh, I can't date somebody who's less than 6'2", is that really what's important? But if you check yourself, and I've checked myself, we have a lot of ridiculous ideas that we make, both in romantic relationships and in friendships, that we decide this kind of person, I can't have any conversations with this person, I can't date this person, I can't be friends with this person. But if you really sit with that thought and ask yourself, why? You find out that the belief you're holding on to, the reason why you think that you cannot be friends with this person, you cannot date this person, is ridiculous. And by putting those barriers in place, you are limiting the amount of resources that you have with regards to relationships. If you have ridiculous barriers about, okay, no, I can only date people who talk like this, I can only date people who walk like this, I can only be friends with people who think exactly like me, it's a problem, because you have made your world so small that you don't have access to a lot of people. But the minute you open up your life, you check your preferences and make sure that you're not being ridiculous, and you loosen up some of those unnecessary boundaries, because sometimes we put boundaries in place and they're toxic. And I know about this because I have had a lot of toxic boundaries, and I had to ask myself, well, is this necessary? And I started to really work on myself, because you can boundary yourself into a life of complete isolation and solitude, and you do not want to do that. So if you want to have richer relationships, and if you want to attract those relationships, you need to be a more open person. It's okay for you to be friends with people who don't have the same political ideas as you, right? Let them vote who they want to vote. You vote who you want to vote. Now, if those political leanings clash in the areas of some of your other deeper values, now that's a problem. But the point is, if this person is okay as a person, it's a good person, and the only difference between the both of you is that they want to vote somebody else, why should that stop you from being friends? Why should that stop you from being able to have a decent conversation and share perspectives and enjoy each other's company? That's one area of your lives. Why should it decide who you can be friends with and even who you can date? Examine your boundaries and expand your preferences. I remember when I first moved to America, and I just kept trying to seek out people from my own country to build a community with. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I was not in a place, like I was in a place where it was, majorly people of a different race. But I was so frustrated because I kept looking for people from my country to build a community with, until a friend of mine challenged me and he's like, what difference does it make, right? You're a person with wide interests, and even if you don't have wide interests right now, your interests could and should be wider. So why don't you open it up? Why don't you build a community with good people, regardless of what race they're from, regardless of what country they're from? And I mean, what's the point of me moving to a new country if I'm just coming here to recreate the old experiences I had? What's the point of living a life where everything stays the same? You need to have people in your life who challenge your thinking, because if you open up your life, if you expand your preferences, it will make you a more interesting person, and people will also be interested in you. That's how you become irresistible. That's how you attract richer relationships. So if you want to attract richer relationships in 2023, you have to understand that there's a whole world out there, a large community of people, a large number of people who want to love you, who want to be friends with you, who are willing to improve your life in ways that you cannot imagine, but you are locking them out because you have restricted yourself. You have allowed the scarcity mindset to affect how you're dealing with relationships, so you feel like you have a small pool of people to choose from, while when you actually have a whole world of people to choose from. So if you want to have richer relationships in 2023, you have to understand that you can literally throw open the door of your life within reason and just let love flow in. Allow yourself to be loved, regardless of how it looks or how it comes into your life. And this is something I learned from Glow as well. She said she was so stuck in her idea of what she thought love needed to look like, and it was keeping love out of her life. And when she realized that, look, I want love, but I don't get to decide how it comes. And I think it's scary for us because we want to control every little detail of our lives, which is good, but the thing about love is you can't optimize your way into love. You cannot smart goals your way to it. I remember this quote that I love so much, and it says, your job is not to look for love, it's to look for all the barriers within yourself that you've built against it and bring those down. So open up your life. If you want richer relationships, understand that there's an abundance of people who want to love you. Sometimes you're the one keeping them out by putting up unnecessary walls and boundaries. To have richer relationships in 2023, open up your life, open up your world, expand your preferences, and then just let the love flow in. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an amazing year. I hope you have, an amazing year of great and rich relationships. I hope that this year you're able to build a community of people who would take a bullet for you. I hope they don't have to, but I hope that this year is your year. I know every year we say that, oh, this is my year, this is my year. I hope this year is truly your year for whatever it is that you've been dreaming of and hoping for. And I will see you next time. Bye.